Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about negative reflection versus positive reflection. Um, there is a biological feeling that when you feel to have negative things going on, you have to reflect them. And you have to reflect them in some sort of way. Okay? My defense of when negative goes and draws into a person's mind like mine, it kind of goes into a bamboozle moment. I'm gonna call it that. A bamboozle moment is basically it bamboozled you, and it can go from lots of people, even my fans, my viewers. Not the electric fan that blows, and that's a joke. Anyway, the point being is that you have to understand that when you switch from negative, you have to put it into a plus. And a plus has to represent that. Now, I know that there are times where we have to take our time to process stuff. And usually sometimes when you're with your friends all the time, the friends can be basically to have a different outcome of yours. What that means is that when friends get on to other people's nerves, they try to tend to back off, away, right? And that's like hesitancy. That's a good word to say it. And you have to have reflection. A reflection is like a shield. And you have to understand that, oh, I should not be happening, this is not who I am, or this should not never happen again, whatever it can be. And you have to apologize for it. Even if you feel some sort of emotions. Emotions can go from different ways. It's like having personalities. When you have a personality and it fits in for a lot of people's personality, then you have it. But when you have a little small personality, then you realize, saying, oh my gosh, I did something that I should not be doing. Then you understand that, right? And, it goes for my viewers as well. If you think about, when you think of having loneliness and you feel anger and it's just the weather that's being annoying or whatever it is, you have to take a stand. Even not the thing that you stand on. No, not those legs I'm talking about. That's another joke for you. But when you take a stand, you have to understand that you have to tell the truth, right? And you have to obey that. Telling the truth is a magnetic, and the magnet has to realize that it has to connect, and the more it connects, the better that you are, right? And when you don't connect, then it doesn't work, right? Now the thing is, between negative and negative equals a positive, right? Because you have two negatives and you have to do a plus in the two. That means that's going to be a plus, right? And you have to understand that if you have plus plus and a negative, then it would be like between it would be a negative, right? So that's like by reverse psychology. I'm gonna say it, reverse psychology, because negative can draw a lot of people's nerves. like the COVID-19, the hot weather, being like watching TVs and watching movies and having the same old repeatable news and what have you. That's all negative, actually. Watching movies and watching TV, that's great. But when you watch the news, the same old thing, it repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats. Sometimes it doesn't repeat. But let's not get down by that road. This is not a road, but that's my other conversation right there. When I look at things between a negative state and a positive state, the positive state realizes that you can have that emotion switch. Emotion switches between that if you are being in a negative character and you're being naive, selfish, and all that, you have to change things around, right? It can work for your friends, or it can work from a colleague, your workers, your family, what have you. It works from both angles and both situations. But the true fact that when you switch the negative into a positive outcome, you have to realize to think about the positive, not the negative, right? Like, for my situation that I had today, I was feeling a little bit down. I was feeling, alone. And it sucks. It really is, because it can take a toll down. Not the toll that you get a toll and you're crossing the bridge. No, not that toll. That's another joke though for you. But the thing is, you have to realize that when you take a toll on yourself, you have all these, I'm not going to call it discrimination, no, but criticism or different kind of negative words, right? You have to take, you don't want to take someone else's wounds. You don't want to take their pain, but you have to switch things around, right? And I have tried to, and that's what it is. When you switch it from negative to positive, you go into a positive way, because it is. Now, it's like me doing oracle cards. When I look at those were kind of good, positive things. But when I used to do the tarot, it brings me a lot of attention to it. But the more that you get interested, the more addictive you are, right? And then it will send you on a man on a mission. Man on a mission, okay? But that's another joke for you. The point being is that what I'm trying to say is that you have to realize that when you're on a mission and you're trying to get from, if you are, let's say, on a pirate ship and you're looking for treasure and the X marks the spot. Well, if you can't find it, you're actually haywire, which means out of control. And all these emotions are going from flippity floppy, which means that it's like a you know how you get to play a game called ping pong or ping ball, and then goes up and it hits all these things. It's like an arcade game thing. But the point being is that what I'm trying to say is that your emotions are flippity floppy. And it goes from one direction to another direction to another direction to another direction to another direction. Think of it as a volcano exploding, okay? Think of it as that. So, you have to understand that I have to understand that when things don't go as my position way, I have to think of it as the right way, not the wrong way. It's like, for example, if someone drives and they don't see and they didn't stop, and let's say, for example, the other person says, "You didn't stop, you didn't stop, you didn't stop." That's actually bad etiquette. That's really bad, right? And we don't want that. But that's my example there. If people don't see where they're up to, or they're distracted and um, they probably turn on the wrong street or whatever it is, and that actually making it wrong. That is actually making mistakes, like turning on the wrong street and you forgot. Oh crap! I had to took the long way around because of there is construction or whatever it is. Whatever it is, and you're trying to not make excuses. Like when I try to think of a plan, I think of the plan. But when I don't think of the plan, I just get, what the heck I'm gonna do? And I would be like this. See, and I don't want that in that position, right? So I have to believe that if I can think of a way, uh, staying positive and do the right thing, then I have to do the right thing. If I don't do the right thing, and then everything is just gone loose, right? So I have to make recommends, and I have to think think things through. I have to process it, and all the negative territory to between from negative to a positive, right? And I know that this seems to be not the oracle cards that you're going to see on the table or the tarot or whatnot, but there is going to be my reading my reading info that I'm going to have here. And if you have a Bible, then read the Bible. If you don't, then just read from the scriptures. This is how I'm going to explain to you about the negative reflection versus the positive reflection. And I'm trying to do that on my own experience and do it by myself. But it will take time. And I have to think things through because I have so many things that are going from left, right, left, right, and center. They call it that. And it's way, way, way too much. But this is how it's going to be. So here we go. What can happen? This is what's going to do. Negative can be overcasted and made your plans to be worn out. However, these are possible reasons of loneliness and anger. These are the two. So loneliness, when you have chapter 28, page 20 in Matthew, it says in the Bible, Matthew 28:20, it says, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you, and behold, I am with you always to the end of the age. So, in that means that if you're feeling alone, God will be there to be with you. Even if he's not in person, let's say, but he's right beside you. You don't know, right? So when I like have this, right, this video that I'm making right now, and you can see it right now until you see it the following day after tomorrow. Basically what it means is that when I told you about the negative thing, we have to get on board, like the board of a train, okay, and everything's all packaged up, and everything goes into the train, whatnot, right? And you have to get seated and all that, right? And you go from one location to another location, but you don't know what destination and what station, blah 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 blah. So I'm not going to go through that, but just picture this. Picture that God was with you, and he was sitting right by you at an empty table, and he says, do you need some help? And then you would say, yes, I need some help. He would look at you, and then he would explain something to you, right? And he would help you with all your fears, all your maybe your wants, your needs, even about not being loneliness or having negative feelings, right? So I have to based on that, right? And that's why I have to look at that way. You know how I said about like looking in the box and it's so scary, it's so dark, you don't know what to do, and then all of a sudden you open the box and you see light, and it's like, oh, where's this light coming from? That's what you have to look at. So I know that this video resonates to you right now. But if you have any questions or comments, just leave them down below. Or you could just have a live chat and say, hi, Spirited Owls, whatever you want to do. So that's negative. The second part is anger. So we have anger, and people are just mad. They can't control it. They can't hold it in. They can't do anything. So this is what I'm going to describe you. In the Bible, if you have the Holy Bible with you, if you have any sort of Bible with you, go to Proverbs 29:11, which means that's what it is. So chapter 29, page 11. It says, a fool gives full vent to his spirit, but a wise man quietly holds it back. Yes. So what I'm trying to explain to my viewers and to myself is that I have to not act like I'm naive or selfish or whatever it is, the negative words. I have to switch things up. And what that means is that switching things up is that I have to turn things around. And I have to do that. But in order to do that, I have to remember that, you know, when you think of a friend, and a friend is being all nice to you, and you get all happy. You know, I did a message to myself. I love those messages to myself, but I'm going to share it to you all. The message to myself, I said, if I was a puppy, I would be waiting for my owner. Waiting, getting excited and all that. Once when my owner comes, I'll be all happy. You know, if you see golden retrievers, if you see dogs, and they're so excited, that's what it is. Now, switch things up. Let's pretend I was a dog, and let's say my owner hasn't come. Well, that dog will actually be sitting somewhere and being alone and waiting. The dog will start to pout, like crying, right? And you know, it's actually heartbreaking for that. So that's my example. I'm not actually that, but you can pretend that would be, right? So basically what it means is that for me, I have to change things up a bit. And it's basically how it can happen, right? And I have to realize that, you know, everyone, like the whole world, has to accept it and all that. They have to agree in order to have disagreements. And when you have disagreements, that's negative territory. If you have positive agreements, the one person will have to shake your hand like this, and it says, okay, that's what I would be doing, right? And that's what it has to be, right? That's why this whole shenanigan, this is a good word, this whole shenanigan of me making this video, I'm making it for my viewers. And, you know, there is a time and place for everything, right? I always say that. But when you have a time and when you have places can go from, you know, from outside in the shade or inside your home, and you just sit there and you just say something in prayer, and hopefully the good Lord will get back to you, right? And you have to have a balance between friends, your relatives, your in-laws, your aunties, your uncles, your mom, your dad, your brother, grandparents, whatever it is. You have to understand that. And if I become a role model with my viewers, then that'd be great. But when you become more, I don't know if this is the word, but I'm going to say it. When you become more irresistible, or whatever that means, you have to understand that there are things you have to learn first. Okay, and that's what I have to do. And I have to remember that it all takes time, right? And I know that I'm not trying to be tempered or anxiety or depression or whatever it is. We have to take step back. We have to go back one step. And you have to understand that things will be getting good by the end. But I have to make a recommends of what's happening, right? And that's how it is. Because I have to learn things first. I have to do that. And I have to, like, in my way of making myself a movie star, I have to believe that I can do this. I believe I can make lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of videos. And it will be all great. But what can you do when you think of the negative all the time and you're the only one that has to, like, admit it, that it would be a bad solution and a bad situation. But when you take a step back from friends, and your friends maybe do negative territory, I don't know if that happens, but friends can get on friends' nerves. I'm going to tell you the truth with that. Because when you take a step back, you have to take a step back. Because in order that you take a step forward, you can't go back. You can't go backwards. Pretend that you're on a bridge and you're walking. Suddenly you stop. You see something. And you see something like a bird flying, like an eagle or something. And you look up, and all of a sudden, right behind you, you have people at the back of you. And you can get this. A lot of people would say, come on, get out of your way, come on, I don't need it, blah, blah, you're too, whatever it is, all these negative words. And then all of a sudden, you would swear back at them. But it's not suitable for this video. It's not. But you do realize that what I'm trying to say is, as a setting, right? You know how I said about setting, like a scene, right? That's what the scene is. You can step back, but you can't move forward. Okay? You have to take a step forwards, but you can't go backwards. Okay, that's the vice versa psychology. That's a good word to say, because in order that you have to understand that makes things through in life, you have to believe that you can do this on your own with not any help. But when you have help in need, it will help you along the way, right? And and I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do this. So I know that it seems to be a little bit, I don't know, awkward and a little bit a fool to myself. Whatever it is. That's why I call this a negative reflection versus a positive reflection, right? Now think about this in a positive reflection. Let's pretend about the bridge, right? And you're walking. All of a sudden, you're walking. Now you add positive, but all of a sudden you didn't know that you have avoidance. Well, all of a sudden you're on this bridge, you're walking. A few minutes later, you're stuck in the middle, and you're freaking out, and you're terrified and all that. All of a sudden, there's a senior lady coming back this way, the opposite direction, and all of a sudden she's actually walking with a walker, like one of those chairs that has two wheels. Now in your mind, you're saying, oh, bleep. That means that you're thinking, oh crap, I have an oh moment. And you're thinking, I'm too afraid. I don't know what I'm going to do. See, that's actually, you don't want that. You don't, right? So you have to, if you take things away, like from your friends, the bridge, what I said about the eagle and all that, right? If you take things back, like rewind the whole video, right? If you rewind that, it would be great, right? But you can't, right? So, that's what I said about the reflection, right? It's almost like a reflect psychology or reflexology or whatever it is. I have no idea. But in that recommendation, okay, because all of a sudden, when you get these, when I get these, it's tough, right? It's tough, and I have to switch things up a bit. I have to, because in order that I take breaks from friends, or if I take breaks from families or grandparents or whatever it is, I have to process a lot, right? And the more process, the better, right? But when you don't have process, then you have this is bamboozle, a lot of stuff, right? So you have to realize that when you take certain breaks, you have to realize that you have to be brave, and you have to be compassionate. You have to be positive. You have to find right things to go ahead, right? And that's what it is. And before I let you all go, there's one thing that you have to learn, and there's a lesson that you have to know, even in this video, and every viewer can look at it and hear what I'm going to say. And then if you want to remember, then remember. The first thing about learning is you have to control your emotions, okay? You have to control your emotions. Now, when a friend is negative to another friend, and another friend doesn't say anything, that friend can turn from, oh, I'm going to be good to you, all of a sudden your friend starts to lie. Now, lying is a bad reputation. Okay, I'm going to say that. Lying is a bad reputation. But you have to learn things first, right? And you have to believe that you can face your own reality, okay? And you have to take lessons. Like you have to, you have to lesson, you have to study, you have to believe in yourself, right? But the point being is that when you have a fine lining, you have to understand that you have to take things back, right? Where you used to go, you're used to see, you're used to location, blah, blah, blah. All the places that you used to go to. But the point being is that when a friend starts to, oh, I can't go out today, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I can't because of something hurts, or whatever it is. And then all of a sudden, they can't. Well, for myself, I would have to do this by myself, right? Go out and do stuff. But the thing is, when you're not with your friends, it's totally opposite. Because you go out, get whatever you need, and then you come back home. It's not just you're with your friends from morning, afternoon, and evening, and then come home, right? But that's the opposite. Now that's a lesson. Now, or that's a learning. Lesson is that if a friend makes excuses, okay, this involves every viewer that is watching this video. If a friend starts to make excuses, okay, and let's say, I don't know, let's say, for example, a friend is on his phone and he's playing slots and he's busy and he's busy and he's busy and he's busy and he's busy. All of a sudden, he looks at the time saying, nope, I can't make it, I'm busy playing slots. Okay. And then he would ask, why? Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I have to do that. Oh, I have to do this. It means that your friends are trying to avoid you, and that's avoidance. And, that means that when you add avoidance, you add lying, you add naive, you add selfish, you add all the stuff that I just told you. And then you make excuses, you add that in. And that's a lot. That's really a lot. And your friend can't handle it. It won't. Because your friend will choose new friends or the same ones that he already has or she already has, And that's why I have to look at that in a different way. Because, the circumstances are even about, let's say, blocking. Everyone doesn't want to talk about blocking. Everyone doesn't want to. This is what I meant by blocking. When your friend starts to text you, and text you, and text you, and text you, saying, hi, how are you? And you say, hi, good. What are you doing? Nothing. Oh, are you mad at me? No. Are you mad at me? No. See, that's what I don't like. Because when a friend asks you that, right? Now all of a sudden, you have this other friend texting, hi, how's it going? Hey, what are you up to? You want to go out today? Your friend says, no, I can't. It's too hot outside. No, I can't. My back hurts. And then you're questioning yourself, saying, maybe he's doing something that I don't really know. And you keep questioning and questioning and questioning. And then you think, maybe these two friends are probably avoidance. Maybe I have to avoid them for a while. Now, which means that it would be longer. The longer the avoidance, the longer it would be, because it would take months, weeks, days, even maybe a year, and that would be a long time. So I have to process a whole lot, right? Like from a novel, right? From a novel book, right? You have to process it until it works. If it doesn't, then you have to not finish it, right? Or delete it, all the words and all that, right? But the thing is, what I'm trying to say is between this negative reflection versus a positive reflection. When I view myself more differently than other people do, it's very, very, very personality. It's a lot. And when you have personality versus your own self, you're acting not like yourself. You're acting like you're an actor in a movie, or or an entertainer, or a performer, or whatever it is. You're acting. And viewers like mine like probably acting, let's say that. And let's say they like acting, and they like performances, and they like to make people laugh, and blah, blah, blah. That's good. But when you think about negative territory, okay, about acting, right? That's why I'm switching topics now. When I look at acting, it's great. And it's great that I'm in character. But when you have, okay, you know how you maybe get to learn this in comedy, and the guy talks to you and says, do you know what hecklers are? And then, let's say, for example, he will say, or question, and then ask, like, what are hecklers? That's a good question. And I'm going to give an answer to it, even any viewer doesn't know. What I'm trying to say is that a heckler will say to somebody on stage, saying, you're gonna stay on. I don't like you on stage. Get off on stage, or I don't like your jokes, or all of that. That's negative, right? So I have to switch things up. I have to, because heckling is a lot different than acting. Acting is more suitable and more happy and more joyful and more everything, right? And when you add comedy in, well, it's like the whole shenanigan, like a whole different scene and whole different scenario and setting, and like the whole picture and all that. That's what it is. That's what it is. But you have to understand that every viewer could think about that, and every viewer won't say, what? Huh? You have to understand that you have to believe in your own self. You could even let's take the negative down, then do that. But when you pretend to put things down, you remember that, oh, great, I just took down positive down, and then your mind is saying, oh no, what I have done. Yeah, right? And that's the whole different avenue. Not really an avenue. But you understand what I'm trying to say. So it is tough. It is tough and tough and tough. If a lot of viewers are getting it, it's great. If a lot of viewers don't, then you have to take it, leave it. Don't make a reservation. No. But that's my way of telling you this whole entire, what's the difference between a negative and a positive way. But anyway, if you have any questions, any comments, anything that is down below, great. And it goes to show you that what can happen to all your friends, even if you have less. And it's true. So based on that, like I say, if you have questions, comments, if you give this video a like or whatever it is, just take it as it resonates to you or don't. But it's my pleasure of telling you what's happening, and it's really based on that. So thank you and have a good day to you all.